Hello?
Not
Hello, I'm having...
anything.
I got like no reception in here. I'm having trouble hearing you. One sec. Alright. Hello?
I love watching you try and find connection with a banana on your 10 frames per second because my Skype hates you.
Yeah, I actually... We might just be better off using a picture. It's less bandwidth, less chance the audio messes up. You got that picture of me still?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna hang up now, so... You need to time this where you take the camera away at the same time I hang up the banana, okay? Are you ready for this?
I think so.
Alright.
It worked out perfectly.
10 out of 10. Would banana again?
Yeah, sure. Oh, I'm host now. We're just about ready to go, actually. So I know that there's been news, recently. And we'll probably get around to talking about that, but our first match of the day for the Olimoleague is going to be ByuN versus TAiLS. Of course, TAiLS winning yesterday's Corsair Cup, actually finally winning something.
Well, he was like 13 hours ago, even less. Like, this is like, he just recently won a cup, which is cool to see. And I mean, for me, it proved that he knows how to play the game a bit, but there was a lot of PvP and not necessarily PvT, and not against one of the best players Korea has to offer presently. So, he'll get to test his mettle versus ByuN. That's for certain.
Yeah. He tested it versus Euthermal, and it wasn't the cleanest kill. It wasn't like, oh my god, Euthermal got wrecked. TAiLS did look smoother than his previous attempts, I guess, versus Terran, which sometimes would really look quite terrible, to be honest. Trying to do the Mothership Core thing, it would go terribly against only 3 Marines, and then it would just snowball from there in the wrong direction, basically. But we are getting started. Thank you to all the resubs that we had while the music goes up. So Terran Blade, 9 months. My BaseTradeTV baby has been born. Okay. Admiral Awesome, resub for 29 months. I blame region locking. Oh boy. Viveka, Area 52, resub for 3 months. Let's start the subtrain hype again. And Sleepy Cod, resub for 27 months. Sumbergub, your mic is not working, mates. Thank you for using your resub to tell me that. What?
Those are a couple people just sub between the cast too. So shout out to Dr. Scotty if this guy's tuning in. But no, I love that they took that. We put it in chat. We said it on stream. Someone needed to sub to reaffirm that was the case. You guys are of course tuning into the Olimoleague, and spawning here on the upper left side of this first series today, we got the blue Terran ByuN.
In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, he is TAiLS.
Now, this is a best of 3, but I do want to just quickly emphasize something outside of the game, guys. We have our usual bot that comes online, tracks your Partoof points, and lets you make bets and all these cool things. Unfortunately, it's having some issues with updating Windows still. It's about halfway finished, so that will be up ASAP, but it's not going to likely be available for this first series. If you do need the brackets, you can find them in the title of the stream. I've actually included them up there for now. And, yeah. Of course, we were talking about this before we got into the game, but just so it's in the VOD itself, TAiLS coming off the back end of a Corsair Cup victory not too long ago, where he did actually play against other Koreans in the finals and the semifinals. Those were both PvPs, and it's just interesting to see a player go from one tournament to another so quickly. I mean, 12 hours is okay. It's like half a day, but still goes from that to the Olimoleague. I wish him the best of luck because he is up against the terrifying force known as ByuN.
Yeah. Well, he got his sleep in, I guess. He's up during the day this time to participate now, because it's like 9. Oh no, it's 7. Sorry. Actually, I've been thinking about it, right? Just because it's fall and it's you know, the winter harvest or some shit. I don't know. Basically, I've been thinking about the time change that's upcoming in November, and I don't remember how we did it in the past with the Olimoleague. Oh, you know what? We don't have to worry about that, because the last... Well, wait a minute. When is Daylight Savings Time?
Homie, I am not prepared to worry about that. Are you kidding me?
I am so totally prepared. Nice hype on the probe, but actually TAiLS has gotten away with the Nexus first regardless of that probe, so joke's really on ByuN's lack of scouting for that Reaper. But anyway, I think we don't actually cast... we'll be in Korea by the time that it'll hit, so that's interesting. I don't have to worry about whether or not we have to get up an hour earlier for this. Interesting. Well, as I said, not really, like, super important. And, of course, more important is that the Nexus First was a success, even if TAiLS loses 2 probes, as long as he doesn't lose, like, 6. Oh, and the Reaper actually died. Then that's okay.
Well, so I would comment on the Reaper going down, but I will say for all of ByuN's amazing good traits, his Reaper control is not one of them. And that's not shots fired, it's just you'll notice this is a guy who can dance around the best Zerg players, the best Protoss, the best Terran Kree has to offer, but he'll never win a Reaper war. Like, it just... I don't know if he just doesn't care, if it's complacency or what, but it's so funny to watch a player so good flip-flop. It's such a, I guess, basic part of the game. Wonderful Widowmine catch on that Stalker, by the way. Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if ByuN saw... Well, he did see the Stalker, but that he expected TAiLS to thus move out with a Stalker. I mean, if it's a Stalker, if it's an Adept, I guess you do mostly expect something poking at your front base, but usually not so late. Usually if the Protoss has to wait a long time and it's a long map, like Frost, cross-spawn, they actually just... They might not even bother ever scouting you until they get a Warp Prism. So that was a bit of a lucky strike there for ByuN. Now, he did deny TAiLS scouting because of that. Like, sometimes the Adept gets up right against that supply depot and sees the factory, but a 1-base Widowmine drop, or 2-base Widowmine drop, sorry, should be anticipated. Like, should be the first thing that you're preparing against, because it is the most popular thing. So this time, TAiLS, please. TAiLS does not lose that many probes to Widowmine drop. This was one of his weaknesses for sure yesterday against Euthermal, as he planned a counter and then just forgot kind of to, you know, deal with the drop first and then worry about the counter.
I guess if you put this probes back like even a little bit sooner, that could have been a lot more splash damage. So I certainly clenched up there watching that happen.
I thought I heard another Widowmine burrow. Clever. So, I mean, there could be a situation where the Stalkers chase after the medevac in this direction, or it could just get a freebie.
What's interesting is actually the fact that it's cross spawn means the observer is a lot more likely to pass over it. Whereas if this was horizontal or vertical spawns, that Widowmine would a lot more easily catch units. They will catch this probe though, stop that third from going down, and he's gonna move it, I think, onto the third base now. Next, oh ByuN, you so cheeky.
Clever. Not so clever there though. Haha. Gotcha. Liberator's gonna come into the natural where there aren't actually like super well positioned pylons. They're a little off to the side. So if it sieges up in that kind of perfect place, the Stalkers will be the only thing to deal with it. But, I mean, they'll have Blink. There's certainly enough Stalkers. They might even have a Warp Prism to help them micro. It's actually not the worst thing. What kind of sucks for TAiLS is, you know, yesterday we saw him try an immediate Blink Stalker counter all in to a Widowmine drop, which usually can be very effective, especially if, again, another probe dead, especially if the Terran doesn't anticipate it and doesn't prepare for it. Euthermal did prepare for it, and then some. He also was doing a lot of damage with the Widowmine drop. Liberator actually didn't manage to do some damage here. But ByuN actually went right on over to his barracks. He didn't bother with tanks. This actually could have been an opportunity for TAiLS to harass the guy with Mass Blink Stalker had he not been preparing to get a third base, which, by the way, still isn't down. I mean, that thing has been officially delayed by, like, at least a minute. That first probe going out there, I don't think was a fake, but I think the second probe was.
Side note, Windows has finally finished updating, so you get the bot online here ASAP, but I really hate this message it gives, where it's like, things are getting ready, don't turn off your PC, don't worry, all your files are where you left them. Like, I don't need that second notification, that just makes me suspicious. Like, why are you telling me that? Should I be worried? Were you moving something? What the fuck?
I was so worried when the first Windows update happened, the one that forced you on to 10. I was like, no, I don't want to deal with the thing again. I hate changing computers. So that was actually a relief. I just don't know what they did that was so big to make them assure us this time. I mean, changing OSs is like one thing.
You know what?
But...
I'll tell you, I don't know what the changes, but if they fixed it, that start menu bug where you can click on things 100% of the time, I'd be okay with whatever the changes are.
So far I can, but what they did change is that it used to be when I Alt-tabbed, it would bring up the search bar, so I could search for Firefox, for instance, which is exactly what I did every single time. Or I could go to the volume mixer just by Alt-tabbing. Now I have to Alt-tab to something that actually is connected to the desktop. So that's a little annoying for me. I don't like it.
Oh, we're not in Team Liquid. This is a good start to the cast.
Brilliant. Well, TAiLS is prepared with a pretty pretty mighty army in general, I guess. Like, yeah, force fields, guardian shield, a lot of adepts. All these units do have their upgrades, and he is finally getting to a third base. But this was seriously delayed. He was actually forced to put down additional gateways before his nexus, which is kind of unideal. But as long as you get the nexus, I suppose, like, it's not a two-base all-in, right? And he can continue maxing out, I suppose. Unfortunately, yeah, I was gonna say his upgrades will be quite late, so double forge seems to be in order. ByuN already with his +1 and almost has 1 armor. TAiLS actually has some catching up to do here.
Well, ByuN coming down the map with a lot of Marauders. I can't wait to see, by the way, what players choose to use what skins in the 3.7 patch that's coming out. I think today, even?
Yeah, I think it should be today.
Yeah, I think Nate did a little bit of a preview video. I was watching it last night, going over the voice packs. But yeah, we'll see if like ByuN and others start using the bigger Marauders, or if they even care. Olimoleague gets a decent shot, takes away a lot of the shields from the Stalkers. Of course, with sentries being so abundant, though, it's actually a bit difficult for ByuN, and he's backing away for this with good reason. He doesn't want to get caught in these force fields like what's happening right now. So he's got to back away from the middle. He's going to lose some Marauders for it. Another Widowmine Soda's off, and unfortunately, he's going to have to back away.
Yeah, he sniped the Observer at the last second there, too, so another one is coming in for TAiLS. At least TAiLS recognized it, but only after he took a second Widowmine shot, which is unideal. 2-2 has started for ByuN. TAiLS should be starting his 1-1 right now, that he can actually calm down and think, and yeah, there we go. Starts his Thermal Lance as well as going up to those Colossus. ByuN is, I mean, a lot of Terrans are having trouble against Protoss for one reason or another. Some Terrans have trouble specifically against, like, Colossus maxed out armies, like they did in Heart of the Swarm. ByuN doesn't actually have that weakness so much. Kind of coming in here being quite aggressive. Actually, the Adept Wall, once that's gone, and once the Force Fields are gone, the Stalkers really can't match up against this.
I'm really impressed. ByuN keeps getting these Widowmine hits, and normally they're the first thing to go down. And they're not killing 15 units, but they are splashing the shields down. It's kind of like a mini early game EMP, and making it a lot easier for ByuN to take these fights. Liberator's huge up in a great position. Stalkers going onto them. It's a big mistake. Marauders go for the tip. They pick the ball up, and now it's knowing that you're but depths with no Stalkers available, and this is a lot of trouble for TAiLS.
It is a lot of trouble. Actually, this might be game over. A lot of Marauders left over, so sniping that Colossus should not be that much of a problem. Even still have the Widowmines coming forward, and the Liberators cannot be dealt with.
Do I get no credit for how smoothly I fit in that callback to the Corsair Cup there?
Nope. I noticed it, and I didn't say anything.
Like, I didn't want to give it attention. I didn't want to feed that ego, Rifkin.
Yep.
Alright, Colossus goes down. Next is going to be next, and this is not for TAiLS to do, but tap out. Jeez!
Well done to ByuN. He gets the first win on the board. It is a best of 3, though, all the way for the Olimoleague. It's not over yet.
No, but it's, for me, to look at the way that game went, I don't feel like TAiLS did a lot wrong. It's certainly funny watching the upgrade difference. That's one thing, but the Widowmines kept getting hits. And I'm not saying like, oh my god, TAiLS should have been focused firing them down like they were banelings or anything, but normally you just see the Protoss players actually just disengage. If you start hearing the Widowmine burrow, if you start seeing it go down, you just kind of take a stutter step back or two. But he kept taking the fights right with the Widowmines, and there was like 1, 2, 3, and then like a fourth I think hit was the last one that really set him over the edge, where it got the rest of his adepts with that one big, again, mini EMP.
That was certainly a problem.
The player's host, I guess?
Yeah, TAiLS hosted.
Feels bad, man. This is why we need to follow Alive. He's got our backs.
Yeah, clearly. He usually hosts with the mod.
And that's going to make me excited to talk about this too. So the WCS mod is going to be incorporating our graphs mod, and thus making it it's like 99% the same mod as the BaseTradeTV one. I was talking with the guy who had originally helped us develop the BaseTradeTV one, and realized why we can't necessarily swap over and why we're going to have some troubles. And that's because I had forgotten about the fact that it's our mod, not Game Heart, that allows for the super glowy, extra cool looking banelings. So we're gonna have to try and adapt the new graphs mod to our current one. Feels sad, man. So close, WCS, so close. I don't know if that's really Lucira or if they're even allowed in the.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Thank you to As Far As It Goes for the 19-month resub.
Nice.
Go, yo.
People in chat noticed the soda crap.
Aren't they clever?
That was my favorite discussion we've had on stream in a long time. But game 2 starting in on Frozen Temple. Wow, these guys are both only Diamond? I thought the Olimoleague had good Korean players.
Yeah.
That sounded like an Apollo noise if I've ever heard one.
Oh, he's being so cute right now. Yeah.
Cat lady, send us into these intros.
In the bottom right on Frozen Temple, it's his map choice. It is the red Protoss, TAiLS.
And his opponent in the upper left gonna be none other than the one, the only ByuN. And quick note, the bot coming online as I speak, so hopefully it'll be there in chat by the time you guys hear this. 3-minute stream delay and all that aside. But I'm wondering if TAiLS picked this map with the intention of doing the pylon attack, because this is one of the maps where, if you guys recall, it was actually altered specifically because of the pylon overcharge issue, but even then it's still a big problem.
I would say either that or the Blink Stalker counter. So he didn't really prep for the all-in like I was saying last game. He was planning on a third base. But you don't even have to all-in with the Blink Stalker counter to a Wouldn't Mind drop. You can just actually control the game with a bit faster Blink Stalkers while like still going for third base and double forge behind it. And in some ways that's a lot better because at least ByuN then has something to fear, when last game he really didn't have anything to fear. He did swap over right onto his tech labs, didn't bother with tanks, didn't bother with bunkers, and was able to play his game to the fullest, where TAiLS was the one that was kind of he had to worry. He had to be on the defensive and had to hold off on his upgrades just in case something happened and all that jazz. So if that happens and you're facing ByuN especially, ByuN is a pretty perfect player. He doesn't get the credit like Innovation does to his perfect macro, but that's just because in general he's so good, I guess.
Yeah.
He does have pretty perfect, macro. He watches minerals and it'll be low.
Well, ByuN's been streaming a lot recently, and I think what really stands out to me is not okay, he's good at macro. That's a blanket statement, right? Anyone can say that. What blows me away is that this guy is so good, he can do a macro cycle between stutter steps. Like, normally it's you focus on stutter stepping, then go back on macro, right? No, ByuN is so crazy quick, he can do both.
That is a pretty impressive skill set. Green Terrans, man.
Also, I know it's early in the broadcast, and I'm sure we'll have to kind of mention this later. First off, we're going to watch ByuN's Reaper probably fail at anything. So that's Reaper in a nutshell. A lot of people trying to discuss the Pro League thing in chat. Some of you guys have seen the people trying to misconstrue what's going on in Reddit as well. People ask me questions on Twitter. If we get downtime later, maybe we'll talk about it. I'm going to ask just one small thing, though, and this is more for the mods, also the chat. I have no problem with everybody discussing Pro League as long as this discussion stays civil. If it starts getting out of hand, we're going to have to start shutting it down. So there's nothing bad just yet, and you guys are great, and I trust all of you to be awesome, but I'm just saying if it gets messy, we're going to shut it down. Because it is, I know, a very big topic.
Certainly gets heated. This Reaper has actually done, I would say, some indirect damage, so probably one of the better ByuN Reapers. It's gonna get in here. Adept attack way too slow to actually kill it immediately. So it's gonna get a Scouts, which is it's all we really wanted. It sees a second gateway and Blink already being chronoed, so that could be Blink or Resonating Glaives. Actually a little difficult, I'd say, for ByuN to tell, because there is an Adept out already, not a Stalker out. In fact, there's 2 Adepts out. That can sometimes be the way that you tell what upgrade they're getting is what units they already have on the field. But with the popularity of Blink Stalker attacks, and that he got Blink first last time, ByuN might be accurately calling that is actually Blink, not Resonating Glaives, in which case he will have to be careful about how he macros back at home beyond this Widow Mine drop. Ooh, so TAiLS was Diamond in Europe too. Maybe this guy really is Diamond.
No, rude.
What? Maybe he's Diamond in America too. What am I drop going to come in? The Mothership Core did use 50 energy on a Reaper without killing it a while ago, but it still has enough to deal with this first one. It actually gets the Widow Mine right off the bat, which is pretty good. This just has Marines now, which the Stalkers will definitely be able to deal with. They're gonna have Blink soon, and that medevac is kind of low. Oh, good God, it's actually really close. 4 seconds. No, they're not gonna get it. And you get a Shook Nasty 69 for the 8-month resub. Oh, Pro went down. I think it said BaseTradeTV and StarCraft 2 forever.
Nice.
Yeah. Now this one of mine is not going to deny another probe this time. TAiLS is on top of it. He's also on top of getting a third Nexus, so he's not going to use his blink to his advantage, and that might be because it was scouted so easily. It might just be that he didn't feel like it would do any damage regardless. But because it was scouted, I think that's why ByuN is bothering to get a tank here. So the observer actually dips in, sees that the factory is still actually building, and then dips right back out. And if TAiLS is even thinking about like posturing outside of the natural like you sometimes see, I guess he's gonna just forget about it basically. He still could. The tank fire can shoot the stalkers once or twice without too much damage on them, but then 3 or 4 times they actually start dying, so he's just gonna keep them at home, I guess. The unfortunate thing about Frozen Temple, by the way, is not only is like this tank choice because of the fear of a Blink Stalker attack, it also could just be because Frozen Temple is good for tanks. So there's kind of like 2 reasons to go for it here. You can siege up like you do versus Zerg and still get a good position against Protoss, and try and abuse that from there. So it just like it's a very short push as well. The observer is scanned, taken out. Bye bye. Bye forever. TAiLS, at least TAiLS will have the third base up and running. He'll have his upgrades maybe. Are they being chrono boosted? They are. Yeah, that's a maybe. Frozen Temple is such a short map, it is hard to tell. As like ByuN is pushing out right now. He's gonna sync it up with Stim and Combat Shield. And +1, but not quite Combat Shields, is what I meant to say. Armor started immediately. Liberators are on the way as well. Everything that's just very positional based that can be difficult for TAiLS to deal with.
I think one of the scariest things about this, tanks aside for a moment, is that TAiLS is coming into this once again without really tech on his side. That 1-1 is close to finishing, but not in time for the fight. That makes this even more like normally some Marauders chasing back Stalkers, not Marines.
That started off pretty terribly. 3 tanks got a
huge
shot off.
Look at that army. The splash damage is ridiculous. The probes are melted. ByuN slices through TAiLS like a hot knife through butter. I know it's an old cliche, but goddamn if it's not accurate.
This was a fairly easy push, and this was not an all-in. The 3rd CC is actually floating over right now. It's a difficult hold. Like I was talking about, the tanks would just be really good on this map, but TAiLS certainly started things off incorrectly by letting so much damage go down on his pure gateway army. And then, of course, before 1-1. So now it's done, but can't really help. This is game, but TAiLS doesn't want to give up quite yet. He doesn't want to just end to 1 push like this.
Not like this. Of course, the Olimoleague is not double elimination, so yeah, you're out, you're out. But as much as he might scrap together a defense here, it still looks like that Nexus is going to go down. ByuN has no remorse when it comes to this game. Seriously.
GG. There you go. ByuN takes the 2-0 and will advance on in the Olimoleague. Not too surprising, he has been in the finals of the Olimoleague for the last however many, actually. Probably more than 2. I know he's been facing Ryung in the past too, but I think was in the finals before that too, as well.
By the way, I forgot, I have to send you an updated thing on Skype real quick. Because this has to go on the overlay, the out of game stuff.
Okie dokie smoky.
But yeah, so I mean, it's not super surprising to see ByuN take that. We wanted to cast TAiLS because we thought, like, I just won the tournament. We'll see how he does versus ByuN, because ByuN is probably the favorite every time we see him show up. But he does have Super in his brackets, and ByuN, between Gumiho potentially, between Trust potentially, and between Super, or hell, even Stats on the top side, ByuN could have some troubles later on. It is worth noting his TvP is not infallible, and one of the ones that he actually dislikes playing.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I messaged him. I was like, I can't wait to be at BlizzCon. We're gonna get so much chicken, bro. And he just gave me like gold mineral patches as a response.
Gold mineral patches.
Now we did put a request in for the second round to actually be Alive versus Patience, should that line up. I'm not sure if he showed up, but it's also worth noting the Zerg players today. You got Chan Kim, which is kind of cool. He unfortunately lost in the first round to Ryung. Or sorry, first game, not first round. You got Lucira, you got Leanox. We actually have a decent spread of races for once, when normally it is almost all Terran in the Olimoleague. All Terran all the time.
Yay, Terran! But the Protosses have been coming back with vengeance, I suppose. Yesterday and maybe today. Patience and Arthur going. Oh wow, PvP. Arthur, come back. Do your Void Ray all-ins. Be the Protoss we need or something. Yeah, we did request the second round, but it'll probably take a little while, so we're gonna go to a quick 2-minute break. Come back hopefully with a lobby ready.